Hi everyone, and welcome back to Ho Tanta Passione. Good day, Melbourne, and good day, Maggie, in this day 14 of the Australian Open when the men's final was played. So, how are you, Maggie?
Good day, Ale. I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. The final was played. Probably, how are you? Because for the first time, I think in the tournament, you miss a prediction.
I didn't just miss a prediction. I got it spectacularly wrong.
Well, like they usually say, even in football, do you know who is the only person, only player who's never missing a penalty?
No.
Those one who are never taking a penalty. So it's the same with the predictions. At least you tried. So far, you were on fire in the tournament. You got all of them right. And just to cheer you up, I don't know if you read anything regarding Naomi Osaka statement after the women's final yesterday. Apparently, Naomi said, hopefully I play long enough to play a girl who said I was once her favorite player. That would be the coolest thing that could happen to me. Probably thinking about herself, the fact that I believe Serena was her hero since she was a child, and now she managed, to play against her, and not only a Grand Slam final at the US Open, but as well this semi-final here in Melbourne. So at least, Maggie,
yes, that's
to cheer
nice.
you up, I brought up a statement from your favorite player among the women. But today, the men's final was played. An incredible result. I think ended in only 1 hour and 53 minutes. So hat off to Novak Djokovic and all of his fans around the world. Because as you can see, I believe, did you watch a little bit of the final, Maggie, or not?
I did, yes. I did watch some of it. I was in and out.
Yeah, so do you know, basically it was in 3 straight sets or 4 or 5?
It was in 3 straight sets, the opposite of what I said.
Well, you said 4 sets Medvedev. After that, he lost the first set, I thought, Maggie's still on track. But this is how we can see, on the screen was the final score, 7-5, 6-2, 6-2 for Novak Djokovic. It was an impressive performance for the world number one. Probably the best of the tournament, like Novak said as well at the end of the match during his press conference. Just before entering and describing, in more detail the match, let's look at some numbers. I think these probably are going to say a lot and speak, on behalf of Novak Djokovic, just to prove his incredible performance. 3 aces for Novak, only 6 for Daniil Medvedev, 4 double faults for the Russian player, only 2 for the Serbian. Also, in terms of percentage, first serve in, 64% Novak, 64 Daniil. That I think made a huge difference. 24 winners for the Russian player and 20 for Novak. But also, I think the number that probably it's telling a lot, 30 unforced errors for the Russian player and only 17 for Novak. So, Maggie, I think, like we said, the match was going to turn probably and be decided depending on the level of the percentage of first serve in and also during the serving games. And I think it was definitely proving once again that Novak Djokovic feels super comfortable playing on the Rod Laver Arena. But just let's restart from the beginning. It was a very cloudy and cold day in Melbourne compared to the previous days. 19 degrees, very big gray clouds in the sky. So as you can see, this is why I'm wearing this gray t-shirt. And they started playing when it was 7:45 p.m. local time in Melbourne. It was 8:45 here in the UK. I just had my breakfast. My wife made an incredible cappuccino, so I was ready, to enjoy the match. But the match started with Novak, who was completely focused. He was on fire. And out of a bloom, in just, I think, 11 minutes, he was already leading 3 games to love. He got an early break, and it seems that Daniil Medvedev was very nervous in the way, he was probably tossing the ball. He was not finding his rhythm. A couple of times he was even upset with the technology, because according to him, some balls were longer or kind of on the line. And it was incredible. So probably it was a one-sided match straight away in the first 3 games. I have to say, both of the players were very well supported by the crowd. Of course, there were a lot of Serbian flags and Serbian supporters, but the other half of the crowd was behind, the underdog, the Russian player. And at that point, Daniil Medvedev kept a little bit struggling, his serve on the 4th game. And in the following one, in the 5th, just after 15 minutes, he managed to break back. In that case, he benefited of a smash into the net from the world number 1. So, and also he leveled in the 6th game the match on 3-all to love. At that point, finally, we had a proper final. They were showing some statistics, the fastest serve of Daniil Medvedev reached, 215 kilometers. The one of Novak Djokovic, 205. So both players were very, very focused, were very keen on trying, to take the opener. And at that point, the match went on balance until 5-all. At that point, as well, Djokovic kept his serve to love in the 11th game. And in the 12th game, probably Novak Djokovic proved to the entire world why he's so consistent and so effective on the Rod Laver Arena, because he played an unbelievable game. He got 3 consecutive set points. He was, in fact, love 40 down, the Russian player. He managed to save the first 2 with a winner and with a very powerful first serve. But after on the 3rd set point, Novak Djokovic managed to get the opener, taking advantage of a unforced return error from Medvedev into the net. So after 42 minutes, Novak Djokovic was leading 1 set up, and again, it seems that mentally he was having the best of the Russian player. The second set started in a promising way for Medvedev, who got an early break. He again took advantage of Djokovic unforced error with his backhand into the net. But I have to say that at that point, again, he was struggling. Fun enough, during this final, he was much more dangerous during the returning games than not during his serving games. And at that point, I think Novak Djokovic won 4 consecutive games in a row. He broke back, and after in a very solid performance, he was much more solid from the back, from the back, and if in the first set probably he was losing all the long rallies, he was mixing up much more his game. You can see, the ability of all of these incredible players, Novak, Rafa, and Roger, to mix up, to to try to break the rhythm of the opponent, to understand when is the right time to probably change something. So even Djokovic, sometimes he was surprising Medvedev with a couple of serve and volley. Also, he was doing much more drop shots, backhand, and he was trying, to call basically Medvedev in what is a less comfortable area, so meaning, closer to the net, where let's say the Russian player is not very elegant, he doesn't have a very sensitive hand, and so he was producing unforced errors. So at that point, in the sixth game, Medvedev kept his serve to love, but after in the two following games, Novak Djokovic once again was fantastic. He managed basically to get another break in the eighth game of the second set. And in that game, probably was the picture of this match, because Medvedev smashed his racket in the previous game, but in that one, he made 3 unforced errors. One of them was a double fault. So after 35 minutes, the world number one got the second set as well. At that point, Maggie, what were you thinking? Did you still believe in Daniil Medvedev, that he could, came back and eventually win this match in 5 instead of 4, or completely you lost your hopes?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think Medvedev was just making too many unforced errors, and Djokovic was just waiting for him to do that. So I think Medvedev was a little bit sloppy, unfortunately. Djokovic seemed to have a better game plan. Medvedev, you could see he was getting increasingly frustrated, and that probably didn't help his match. Djokovic was bringing him more to the net, and as if you just said, he doesn't play well at the net. So it was looking increasingly unlikely that Medvedev would take the third set.
For sure, and probably in the opening game of the third set, Medvedev had a chance. He couldn't take the chance because Djokovic was on serve, and it was a 15-40 down with the 2 double faults. And at that point, I think Medvedev made wrong decisions. He was too much in a hurry. He was looking several times his corner. It was quite strange to see his wife Daria to be there, always on the edge, to be completely quiet, try probably to send him some good looks and vibes, but it was not enough. And at that point as well, Djokovic survived in the opening game, and he got another break, taking advantage again of 2 double faults of Daniil Medvedev. And again, he was leading 3-love in the third set. He was absolutely cruising this final. He was focused as well. They were showing during when he sat down in his chair. He was doing a lot of meditation, breathing exercise in this as well. Novak Djokovic has improved a lot, and we all know he's taking advantage of yoga, all of these kind of routine just to keep himself focused. And after, what can I say, in the following 3 games, both players kept their serve without any kind of problem. And I think, again, in the 7th game, there was a little opportunity for Medvedev at least to turn the, if it's not the match, the third set. Djokovic was 15-30 down. Medvedev produced a winner, and after he was trying, to engage with the crowd, he was, with this kind of gesture, he was inviting, the crowd to start cheering up or get hot again. But after Novak was too solid, too strong. Again, he was always doing the right thing at the right time. They were also showing at that point only 14 unforced errors for Djokovic and 28 for Medvedev. Considering that as well he's a baseline player, and his game is based on being very solid from the back. at that point he was really struggling, and when he went on serve on the 8th game, at that point Novak Djokovic was again almost perfect, and even needed only one championship point that he got, and he won with the style by the net, I think with a kind of a particular smash with his backhand by the net. At that point the Serbian player could celebrate. He just fell on the court. He was shaking hands with Daniil Medvedev, and after he could basically shout and scream, looking his corner, he went, hugging Goran Ivanisevic's coach. That is, he was here, as we know, he has two coaches, but Vaida was not here in Australia. He's a physio that probably with his magic hands managed, to
the magic physio.
Yeah, the magic physio, like Novak said several times, and as well as I think marketing manager or agent. So at that point, this was for Novak Djokovic's 21st consecutive win at the Australian Open, because he won the Australian Open in 2019 in 3 straight sets against Rafael Nadal. 2020 last year in 5 sets, coming 2-1 down against the Dominic Thiem, and this year in 3 straight sets. So I think with no doubt, Maggie, we can consider Novak the king of Melbourne Park, like he was said as well during the trophy ceremony speech. He was a focus from the beginning, unbelievable performance. We can say, if Australia and Australian Open is the home slam for Novak, for sure the French Open is the home slam for Rafa, and Wimbledon is the home slam for Roger. Do you agree with me, Maggie?
Yes.
What are your thoughts?
Absolutely. He was just too dominant today. He had it in his sights. He wanted it, and there was very little Medvedev could actually do.
And like I mentioned yesterday, already with Rafa's defeat, Djokovic had basically the confirmation that he was going to pass the record of Roger Federer number of weeks as a number 1. So from the 8th of March, he will pass, Roger, who had so far 310 with 311. So another record for Novak Djokovic. Fortunately for him, the injury was smaller than he thought. We're going to discover exactly in his documentary by the end of this 2021 what was about exactly. And now I just want to show to you these numbers, very impressive numbers. If we consider that Pete Sampras was holding the record until a couple of years ago with the 14 Grand Slam, when Pete Sampras achieved this result, everyone was saying it's absolutely impossible, or it's going to be very difficult. And now we don't have one, we don't have two, we have 3 players all playing at the same time. Roger with 20, Rafa as well with 20, and Nole with 18. It's something incredible. I can't believe, Roger, let's break down his record. I believe he has 8 Wimbledon, 6 Australian Open, 1 Roland Garros, and 5 US Open. Instead, Rafa, 13 Roland Garros. Imagine. 13,
he lives there.
Yeah, one more, he can match Pete Sampras only with Roland Garros. 1 Australian Open, 2 Wimbledon, and 4 US Open. Instead, Novak Djokovic, 9 Australian Open, so 50% of his Grand Slams coming from the Australia. Probably he needs to say thank you. It's not only the Happy Slam, probably the Nole Slam is going to be the new nickname as well. 1 Roland Garros, and if I remember right, 3 US Open, yes, 1 behind Rafa, and 5 Wimbledon. So let's see. Roland Garros now will be a very important Grand Slam. Of course, looking at the statistics, for sure, Rafa, Nole, and Dominic Thiem are the three favorites. Is going to be played in 3 months' time.
And will Roger be back?
Roger for sure will be playing now. He confirmed in Doha. To be honest, I don't know. I doubt he will be playing the clay season because, like he said, his focus will be on the summer season, starting with his preparation before Wimbledon, the Olympics, and as well US Open. Who knows? On clay is very demanding, in particular for Roger, coming after 2 knee surgeries and after more than 1 year without playing. I don't know. Roger surprised us so much in the past. I have no idea. Probably, speculations or rumors, if he decides to quit with this year, he might decide to come to the Roland Garros just for the sake, of entering the tournament without any kind of clay preparation. Also, from this year, I believe we're going to have night sessions. There is the roof. It was already, they started playing with the roof already from last year in October. It was finished. Who knows? But I wouldn't be so much sure. And also, considering, Roger won only once there. It was back in 2009, long time ago. I don't know. I would be very, very surprised, but who knows? Let's not forget that on the 8th of August, Roger Federer will turn 40. So we all know that Roger is like an Highlander. He's always surprised us, even in the past. We all love Roger. We can't wait to have him back on court. And just looking, at the ATP ranking, considering the Federer, didn't play. I know that there was the ranking was protected and so on, but Roger is still number 5 in the world, as you can see. Djokovic is dominating as a number 1 with almost 2,000 and something more points gap between him and Rafa. Daniil Medvedev still number 3. He couldn't manage, to overtake Rafa. So we still have one of the Fab Four, at least 2 of the Fab Four in the first 2 spots in the world. So I think probably it was since long time ago, 2005, 2006, that we didn't have one of the Fab Four in the first 2 positions in the world. Dominic Thiem as well is very close. And now, apart from Rotterdam, and I think the Master 1000 in Miami, the clay season we start in April. We all know that Medvedev is not particularly strong, or at least, he played the semi-final in Monte Carlo, but after in Rome, Madrid, he doesn't have, very good scoring records. And as well, as I mentioned to you, Maggie, a few episodes ago, he hasn't won a match at all at Roland Garros. He always lost the first round. So it's more the tournaments for Rafa, for sure, Dominic Thiem, and Novak Djokovic, who is kind of the most completed player and can really perform very well on all the surfaces. But also, we had probably a very good final, one-sided, but we had the great ceremony speeches from both players. I don't know if you had the opportunity, Maggie, to hear what they said.
I didn't hear any of the speeches.
The first, of course, it was the runner-up, Daniil Medvedev, who I have to say, he has a great sense of humor, and I love his attitude. He already did the same when he played against Rafa, and he was the runner-up 2 years ago at US Open. He said, it's never easy to talk after a defeat. Congratulations to Nole, to his team for the unbelievable performance. I'm pretty sure that it's not going to be your last win here in Melbourne, but for sure as a Grand Slam. And after he said, I want to share with you guys a story. when I was number 500 or 600 in the world. I was in Monte Carlo. Novak was a god to me. Novak basically, I think he won Wimbledon just a few weeks before, and basically I was very surprised that he was approaching me. He started talking to me as a friend. He even asked me, "Do you want to practice? Do you want to play?" So he said, "You are a fantastic sportsman. You are incredible. You prove to me, even after all of these years, that you're always the same person. So thank you so much. I have total respect for you." And as well, Novak was very pleased to hear those kind words, and he was kind of smiling. At the same time, he was touching, his heart as a sign of gratitude. Also, Daniil Medvedev was very kind towards the organizers. He was saying, "Thank you so much to all of you. You work very hard to make this possible. I know it was not easy to go through a quarantine for the players, also a lockdown of 5 days without the crowd, I hope to be back. I wanted to make, the final longer and more entertaining for all of you guys in the crowd. I'm sorry, it's going to be for next time. So see you next year." I don't know, Maggie, what do you think about his
nice
speech?
Very nice, yes, considering that you've that he'd just been defeated, then it's not easy to make a speech like that, so well done.
For sure, yeah, it was not easy, and after, it was quite funny to hear. He's completely changing. When he goes on court, he looks like a quite crazy player. But I have to say, also, he speaks a very fluent, a wonderful English, and he has a great sense of humor. And after they called, of course, Novak Djokovic, he was lifting, the trophy for the 9th time. So far, he played the 9 finals, winning all of them. It's unbelievable to look back. He won his first final in 2008. He was, I believe, only not even 21 years old, because Novak's birthday is in May, like Andy Murray. So Novak will turn 34. So during these 13 years, his first in 2008, now he's 9th in 2021, sorry. And as well, he wanted, he said, "First of all, I need to return the nice words to Daniil. He's a great guy, he's a great person." And after he was joking a little bit, he said, "Oh, you mentioned about me practicing with you, but I have to say," because probably, I believe both of them live in Monte Carlo, he said, "You're not inviting me that much as you used to practice. Thank you so much. I hope, to deserve your time a little bit longer." And they were both, smiling each other. And he said, "You are one of the toughest guy on tour. I'm sure, it's matter of time before you winning another Grand Slam." And after, it was quite a message between the lines saying, "I hope you don't mind if you're waiting a couple of more years." So, as you can imagine, there is this hunger, this Roger, Rafa, and Nole. They are pushing, each other to the limit. I think they don't want, to pass the leading position, like even Novak said a couple of days ago. I'm not going to give up so easily. The same Rafa at Roland Garros, like he did during his speech with Dominic Thiem, and as well Roger at Wimbledon, because at the moment only Novak Djokovic could beat Roger 2 years ago. He got 2 consecutive match points, so let's remember about that. And he said, for me, it was definitely Novak Djokovic a roller coaster in terms of feelings, emotions. This Grand Slam was probably one of the most difficult one in the last couple of weeks. Going, I love you guys so much. You always give me incredible vibes here on this court. Mixed feelings coming to Australia. it's always for me so happy. I'm so pleased. It was definitely a successful tournament. We need to be grateful to the organizers, to everyone. So as well, again, he spent very nice words. And also, at the end, when he was talking to Barbara Schetz and Mats Wilander, he said, for sure, Daniel is the most prepared out of the next generation, looking at Alexander Zverev or Stefano Tsitsipas to win a Grand Slam. Dominic already won the US Open, so he joined the club, and with a smile he said, Roger, Rafa and I, we're still trying to give them hard time. Probably we are mentally more prepared, and I think this is definitely the difference. It's not the fitness, but the fact that all of them, Roger, Rafa and Nole, they have a clear game plan, and they are able to change their game plan to mix up different shots, and to understand when they have basically to hit the opponent, to damage, to even they understand that when is the turning game or the one that they have to win for sure. And of course, probably they are the most talented in terms of adapting themselves depending on the opponent. What do you think, Maggie? From
definitely. I think even though physically they are older than a lot of the other players out there, I think mentally they're stronger. They know what to do. They've seen it all before. They've got so much experience behind them that it's you're playing their mind as well as their good strokes.
There is a question coming from the chat, Maggie. I don't know if you can hear. Who you think had the most chance to win next Grand Slam other than big three, Medvedev or Thiem? I let you comment first, and after I can go.
Well, if the next Grand Slam is, if we're talking Roland Garros,
it's correct. Yeah, it's correct.
Yes, then probably Thiem. Just because maybe he's got more maybe better results on clay, but you never know. Medvedev, even though he was defeated today, he might just think, well, he's got the confidence behind him now. He's been to a final, and it might just make him decide that he wants to do as well, even better on the next surface, even though it's a tricky surface.
Yeah, as I said, so far on in Monte Carlo, he reached a semi-final a couple of years ago, and he beat Novak Djokovic. It's going to be very, very important to look at the draw to see how they reach. If Djokovic for sure will keep the first spot, but if Rafa can keep the second, because you never know if Rafa if Rafa drops to the third seed in the ranking, Novak and Rafa can play, they can be on the same side for a semi-final. So you never know. The draw will be very, very important for sure. Dominic Thiem on clay is very strong. He proved several times. He beat both of them. Novak at the Roland Garros in an incredible semi-final, as well in other tournaments. He beat Rafa in Barcelona, in Rome, in Madrid. So probably I would say Dominic Thiem, but I need to see, because now that they are moving back to Europe, we have to see each tournament, the quarantine, how it's going to be in terms of a protocol, because we definitely know that here in Europe the situation is not as good as in Australia, where they have probably zero people found positive to COVID, so they can be much more relaxed. They could welcome also to have the crowd there. It can have a completely different impact in terms of the players. But for sure, if I have to say today, I believe Dominic Thiem. I agree with you, Maggie. Dominic Thiem can be probably, they've been saying in the last couple of years, the one who has more chances after Rafa and Nole to win the Roland Garros. Also because Nole won only once here when Rafa had to pull out in 2016, playing in the final against Andy Murray. With no doubt, is not his favorite surface because most of the time when he's off balance, he can't hit the ball very well. He's kind of a little bit struggling. So we need to see also if he's going to be a very humid, hot Roland Garros during the last week of May, the first in June. A lot of big question marks, but for sure, very interesting question, Milan, and we are going to see. So just, coming back to the comments made by Novak, of course, he said he was studying a lot, and probably this is what the next gen or other players, I think, are doing less. I have to say they have one style, even Dominic Thiem, they go and they play in the same way, where Nole, Roger and Rafa, they adapt, they analyze, they prepare, they study a tactic. It's very important, to be very tactical during these matches. Also, if you consider, Novak said, Daniil Medvedev has a huge serve. I was returning a lot of serves, and so I was forcing him basically to play an extra shot, and so to start to doubt a little bit. And also the variation are good if they are done at the right time. And for that reason, if you look of the last, they won the three of them 58 Grand Slams, something unbelievable, Maggie. I think Roger's first Grand Slam was in 2003 Wimbledon, Rafa Roland Garros 2005, and Novak Australian Open 2008. Since then, if you consider 2003, so basically there are 18 years. So if I don't know if you're good with maths, but approximately there are 4 Grand Slam per year. So something like more or less they played a little bit less than 80 Grand Slam and they won 58 out of that. Something
impressive.
If you look, I think 3 were won by Andy Murray, 3 by Stan Wawrinka, 1 Del Potro US Open, 1 Cilic US Open, 1 Thiem US Open, so 3 and 3, 6. We are kind of 11 that I can remember. The others at the moment I'm still not 100% sure, but something unbelievable. Probably Andy Roddick, I remember, won a US Open. So US Open seems that probably is the one, I don't know if it's the 4th Grand Slam where the opponents have more chances. Even Andy Murray won his first Grand Slam at the US Open, and after he won to Wimbledon. And as well, I still consider a Wimbledon, if all of them are fit and they arrive, with the right physical condition, the 3 favorite, because they are the only 3, apart from some other big servers, who can play very well on grass. As well, Roger winning 8 times. Rafa, even if only won twice, but he played 5 finals. The only problem that he had on the other side of the net, he lost twice against Roger and once against Novak. And also he played in 2018 an unbelievable semi-final that he was decided on very few points on the 5th set. So again, let's see, but I believe between Roland Garros and Wimbledon, a lot will happen. What do you think, your prediction, Maggie? Do you believe Novak will manage to level Roger and Rafa by the end of the year, or even overtake them, or not?
Well, given the fact that my last prediction was woefully wide of the mark, I think the fact that he's only got 2 more to catch up on, it's very possible if Wimbledon goes ahead this year, he's got a good chance. US Open again on hard court, you never know, maybe.
Yeah, as I said, the US Open for me, I consider is the one that the most open one. There are more players because he's going to come after the Olympics as well. For Novak, he said one of his main goals will be to perform well at the Olympics. It's the only trophy that is missing, the gold medal. He just won, I think, one bronze medal in 2008 when he lost in the semi-final against Rafael Nadal, who won his single gold medal. And in 2016, he lost the first round in Rio against Juan Martín del Potro. Again, we need to see, because as well Novak, a couple of days ago, he said only because he was a Grand Slam, I decided to carry on. Let's see if, like they were mentioning, the injury is still concerning, him. Because he mentioned I might take a longer break than expected in the coming months. So it's going to be very important to see if he's going to play for, first of all, the Master 1000 in Miami, that he will be played by the end of March, beginning of April, and also if he will be playing some tournaments for preparing the Roland Garros, starting with Monte Carlo by the middle of April. For sure, a lot to discover. Fingers crossed regarding, this COVID situation. Tomorrow as well here in the UK, the Prime Minister, Boris Johnson, will announce and will make public the new measurements of what's going to happen in the next coming weeks. So Maggie, we need to keep optimistic, not positive, optimistic. And first of all, I would like to thank you for your participation. This format would never be possible without you.
Thank you for having me.
You brought so much knowledge and as well good sense of humor, and you've been a fantastic partner in crime. So far, all of your predictions were fantastic. I love having you as a guest, and probably I should deliver to your house, a bunch of flowers and chocolate, just to as a sign of gratitude. I don't know if you're going to be able to join me in the next Grand Slam, Roland Garros, depending on your commitments. You are more than welcome, Maggie, to join. And as well, if you have more friends who are in love with tennis, I always try to invite, because it's nice to have a conversation, to share opinions. I think probably tennis is such an international sport. There are so many people who love this sport worldwide, and it's always great. On one side, probably, Maggie, you are very pleased because your favorite player, Naomi Osaka, won here in Melbourne. You miss your prediction, but for sure, I believe Daniil Medvedev will have time to win here in Melbourne, and his first Grand Slam. I don't know if you want to say anything to all of the people, because there were so many that watch our 14 episodes, so many hours. So first of all, I would like to thank all of you for your kind words, comments. In particular, there was someone called Bob Green. Thank you so much, Bob. You've always been very active. I would like to say thank you to my mom, who was not missing any episodes, even basically making my dad wait for a lunch or for dinner. And as well, Maggie, do you want to say anything before we close with this grand and happy slam?
No, just again to repeat, thank you for having me. It's been fun to talk about tennis and to make some predictions. And don't forget to subscribe to Ottanta Passione.
Thank you so much. You are fantastic, Maggie. Probably, do you remember one of the most famous lines in The Terminator? Probably you can leave us with that line to give some hope and expectation in whoever is following us from home.
I'll be back.
And I really hope, Maggie, you are very, very important. So I really hope you'll be back. So that's all for today and for these 2 weeks. I hope I try, to improve my Australian accent. Good day, Melbourne. I've been there. I went there 3 years ago. It's a beautiful country, a beautiful city. If you've never been there, I highly recommend all of you to go there. you can smell and experience an incredible vibe in all Australia, but in particular in Melbourne. It was a roller coaster even for me. I enjoy so much, and first of all, I'm very happy that this beautiful sport is back. Fingers crossed, and now we're going to be able to have a full season ahead of us. Like Maggie said, don't forget to subscribe to Tanta Passione. It's very, very important to make, this, imagine as a tournament, to go from a Master 250 to a Master 500, a Master 1000, and why not a Grand Slam? So to receive a wild card from whoever is watching us from home. Share this video with whoever is in love with tennis. Leave your comments, as many as you like Bob Green or like Milan did during the live. Congratulations again to Naomi Osaka and to Novak Djokovic, who won, and they are the king and the queen of Melbourne Park and Australia. I love you guys. See you soon. And like I usually say, tennis never sleeps on Tanta Passione.